Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition of No Holds Barred. Basically, our bookend to all of the journeys that we cover on this channel, and by journey I mean the games we play. This evening's, the last few months actually, we've definitely been playing this since October because we got the Halloween Easter egg, has been Batman Arkham Knight, the last game of the Arkham trilogy, or the unofficial quadrilogy if you count Arkham Origins, because this game certainly does. This is a game that I was not particularly looking forward to. I have fond memories of Arkham Asylum. I have fond memories of Arkham City. I have vaguely fond memories of Arkham Origins. I've never quite had many fond memories of Arkham Knight. I bought it on release. Of course I did. I loved the previous game, so I thought this will be brilliant. Hey, they've got the Batmobile in it. What could possibly go wrong? Oh, well, time makes fools of us all, it seems. Yes, when I first played this game, I didn't have a particularly sparkling view of it. I hated the story. I hated the Batmobile. I quite liked the new mechanics. And yes, it's one of the few games, I think one or two, definitely the first, that I've ever refunded on Steam. Oh, and the fact that the PC port quality wasn't spectacular at the time that I bought it also helped with that. But yes, so it wasn't a game I was particularly looking forward to going back to, but I said I would cover this franchise, and I have covered this franchise, excluding the VR games, because I don't have a VR headset, and I wouldn't stream with it anyway if I had any choice, so there we go. So yes, that was then. This is now, however, and after spending, I have no idea, something like 200 hours in this game, or very close to 200, I suspect. It's over 100 hours at this point. Doing everything. And I mean everything. We have done the main story to 120%. This includes all of the DLC, the Season of Infamy DLC, I believe it's called. So Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul, I think that's all of them. So I've done that. We then did it all again in New Game Plus. We did all 243 of 243 AR challenges. We did every single Riddler trophy in the game. We have 3-starred every single AR challenge. We have got the best time out of our friends list on all but 2 of them. Endless Night, because I'm not the greatest at Predator sections, and some stupid car driving smashy thing that was just really impossible for me to do well in, because I don't know whether it's just stacked against me or I'm just very bad at that sort of thing. But yes, I didn't get those, but that doesn't matter. We've got 3 stars on every single AR challenge, including the one with the driving the Batmobile upside down, and the other one where we're driving in a figure of 8 trying to do a really, really tight thing. Oh, and also a bunch of the DLC of the Batmobile stuff. At this point, we've done most of the achievements. I've still got a few achievements left to do. I hold my hands up to that. We've done all the hidden achievements as far as I can tell. So, yes, there's a handful of things that I need to mop up, but as it stands, it's alright. But anyway, before I went off on that tangent, my thoughts of the game. Well, after doing so much and spending so much time in this game, I must admit that, like a fine wine, this game has aged exceedingly well. The graphics, though about 10 years old, absolutely astounding. My only complaints in them are, there's quite a few graphical glitches, but in fairness, I've encountered that with the... well, maybe not Arkham City and Asylum. Maybe, possibly. I'm remembering these fresher, and I remember Arkham Origins a lot because it had the same cape glitch where the cape kept flying in weird directions. There's a few character model glitches here and there. There is certainly one mechanical glitch where I was waiting as Nightwing by a doorframe to corner take down an enemy, and then the enemy did not walk through the door, but walked through the wall next to the door. So there's some mapping glitches here and there. I'm sure the community with the mods have probably managed to mop a few of those up, since I don't think Rocksteady are at this point. Otherwise, Oh, and also, and this really irks me, the game's locked to 90 FPS. I appreciate that it locks to a frame rate where most systems would be able to handle it, but at the same time, I would very much like to run it at my monitor's refresh rate, if at all possible, not lock it to 90 FPS. I'm sure I could adjust it in the ini file if I had the option to, but, well, I could adjust it in the ini file, not tried it, and I'm kind of against the idea of having to go in and modify the game's core files in order to unlock things that should be a setting in the graphics options anyway. But whatever. We're running this game at absolutely max. 10-year-old game running on a 4090 Super. No, sorry, 4080. 4080 Super. I wish I had a 4090 Super, but I think my power supply would explode. That's neither here nor there, though. Yes, so this game is running on a 4080 Super. We've got everything cranked up to max, apart from film grain, which I've turned off, and motion blur, which I've turned off, because everyone should turn those off as far as I'm concerned. And yes, game runs fine. Like I said, couple of graphical glitches here and there, but mechanically the game is absolutely sound. Inside the main game, I've had absolutely no issues, apart from Batman's cape that taking on a will of its own and flying all over the place. The only time we've had any sort of game crashing was actually in a Matter of Family, in the Matter of Family DLC pack for Batgirl. With that, it crashed at least twice. No, it locked up once and then crashed, and then after we finished it, it crashed with a very long error message. So that DLC doesn't seem particularly stable. Maybe if I revalidated the Steam file, the game files in Steam, it might fix the issue. I've not done that, so we'll see. According to chat, people have also had it happen to them, so it seems to be a running theme. So maybe it isn't a validation issue, maybe it's just buggy. There we have it. But yeah, performance-wise, absolutely astounding. 10-year-old game, still beautiful. Really fantastic looking. How do I feel about the separation from it? It feels removed from the art style of Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, but I can see why the devs did that, because it's got a higher fidelity now and it still looks absolutely astounding. Crank everything to max and it's a beautiful, beautiful game. So, and this is the bit that I was trying to put off for the longest, the story. How do I discuss the story without spoilers? The game takes place a few months after Arkham City. Arkham City is shut down, all the rogues have, all the trials and stuff have happened, and now Batman, well, Scarecrow has returned, he has threatened Gotham with a massive amount of fear toxin, Gotham is evacuated, and in one night, one man has to save the city. And of course it's Batman. So we go off on our merry way and save all of the city. And that's it. That's the I suppose, going to minor spoiler territory, the Joker's in it as well. Apparently the Joker toxin from Joker blood thing from Arkham City, the Joker's in Batman's head. I've got my own headcanon about that. I won't go into it here, but I've watched through the stream and I've mentioned it a couple of times. But yes, I've got my own headcanon about that. But yes, so the entire game revolves around Batman trying to stop all of his rogues gallery up to this point. Well, yeah, actually, I think all of his rogues gallery across the previous games, and stop Scarecrow from destroying the city, as well as trying to find a cure for his Joker hallucinations. And Batman does as Batman does. So yes, all well, I think... Oh, and of course... And of course, there's the Arkham Knight. The Arkham Knight is an original character to this game, and for the most part, how best to describe him? I think he was good in concept, but poorly executed. I think the entire... how do I phrase this? I think the entire premise of the whole shock reveal of who the Knight is... And this is a 10-year-old game, so why am I even going so much into anti-spoilers? Anyway, people may not have played it. But yes, the whole shock reveal of who the Knight is, that really should have happened much earlier in the game. As in, I think it should have happened when he first showed up, or at least in that first set of missions. And then they could have built the entirety of Batman's psychological break and everything else going on around it. Around that, rather than this whole "who is the knight" mystery, because the game doesn't slap you across the face at least 4 times throughout the main story to give you subtle hints about who the Arkham Knight secretly is. And oh, what a shock it will be when he is finally revealed. But there we go. That's worth nothing that the Arkham Knight was originally meant to be an original character. Warner Brothers kind of shoehorned it to be the old Robin. Oh, I've just spoiled it now, haven't I? Oh, well, but yes, so there we go. I mean, that's basically anyone who's played the game can figure it out, and the spoilers are all over the place. So yeah, there we go. You don't lose anything for that spoiler. I'm just pointing it out there. In anything, if nothing else, it makes Batman sound like a moron. But I can also understand where he's coming from, because Jason Todd is dead, and so if you want a good Jason Todd story, by the way, and I know I'm going on a complete tangent here, watch Under the Red Hood. Fantastic movie. Brilliant movie, brilliant retelling of brilliant telling of the whole Jason Todd stuff. Amazing. I love it. Death in the Family. Death in the Family. That is the comic storyline. But unlike in the comic books, it isn't a Superboy Prime punching a hole in the universe that resurrects him. It's actually got a much more logical reason. As far as comic books go, I suppose. Anyway, I'm off on a tangent. So yeah, the story-wise, would I say it's a brilliant story? It's a good story. If you use your imagination, fill in some of the plot holes here and there, then it actually turns out to be a pretty robust story. I kind of enjoy it, I must admit. Would I say it's my favourite? Probably not. I don't know. I still really have a big soft spot for Arkham Asylum because I just love the setting and the whole Batman alone in the asylum as the inmates take it over. But I also really love City because it's such a brilliant 3-act structure, even if it drags in the middle. Arkham Knight, it has its moments. It's probably and Origins. I also do enjoy Origins, even though the whole Joker thing was a bit... But whatever, yes. So I wouldn't rank Knight as the lowest, but at the same time, it's not the strongest in terms of entries, shall I say. But all in all, good story. I enjoyed the story. So yes, I'd quite happily play the game again, to be honest. Mechanic-wise, this is where the game really shines. I mean, once you unlock the new Batsuit, the one on the cover, the one everywhere, the one you see Batman wearing here in all of the shots in the main menu, once you unlock the version 8 Batsuit, and you unlock the multi-fear takedown, not just the multi-fear takedown, everything, Batman hits harder, moves faster. It is a truly work of beauty. It is a fully matured free-flow fighting system, and I absolutely adore it. Once you've spent enough time in the AR challenges to learn the mechanics of how Batman works, it is such an absolutely fantastic fighting system, and I wish to see it in more games, because I just absolutely adore it. It's brilliant. As for the gadgets are still here. The gadgets are updated. You've got, as you get your combo built, you've got additional moves that you can use on the gadgets, exploding batarangs, electrocute multiple people at the same time, a fancy sort of immediate takedown with the back claw. So yeah, in terms of the fighting, it's absolutely astounding. In terms of the rest of it, gliding, still there. They've overcharged the grapnel boost, so you can just traverse the map in a matter of minutes. And it's a big map, 3 whole islands. I think it's about 3 times the size of Arkham City or something. It's astoundingly vast in terms of what it is. But that's not the only way you can traverse it, because you also have the Batmobile. And the Batmobile is another thing. So, when I first... And I'm actually going on quite a long rant on this one, I must admit. So, the Batmobile. What do I think of the Batmobile? I enjoyed driving the Batmobile. I liked some of the tank stuff with the Batmobile. I think they over-egged the tank battles a little bit, but replaying the game, I must admit, I enjoyed them. I very much enjoyed a lot of the tank battles. Some of them were actually a real challenge. We played on Nightmare, by the way, the hardest difficulty. I think it's the hardest difficulty, but yeah, we played on Nightmare, so take that as you will. So, yes, very much enjoyable. Batmobile takes up 50% of the game time. Indeed. It does very much take up 50% of the game time, so yes. But I think what I found most annoying about the Batmobile, though, is the riddles. The driving sections, I can happily live with. Thundering through the streets of Gotham in the Batmobile with the afterburner on, brilliant. The racetracks that Riddler built, brilliant. Really annoying at times with some of the mechanics involved, but that's more of a skill issue on my part than the actual game. Tank battles, if there were... By the end of it, I thought the tank battles are an odd one. I kind of enjoyed the tank battles by the end of it. They put a certain amount of challenge into it. Did we have a few too many tank battles? Probably, once you've started going through all 100% of the Gotham's Most Wanted list. The one that really, really annoyed me... Was this your first play? Yes. No, it wasn't. It was my second play. So far, I've played the game 3 times now. I played it on release, I've played it on stream with the normal game, and I've played on stream with New Game Plus. So I've done the game 3 times. But yes, in terms of tank battles, that's fine. But the riddles with the Batmobile... The riddles with the Batmobile is where it started to outstay its welcome, as far as I'm concerned. I can understand all of the core elements of the game, and they were fine in their own little bubble. But once you start pulling the Batmobile into so many of the riddles, some of the riddles were fine, like you get in the Batmobile to race the clock to get to a specific location, that's fine, but it really overstayed its welcome by the time you finished all of the Riddler trophies, because it felt like you needed it for at least 2/3 of them. And at that point, it just feels like it's being crammed down your throat. And I think that's where a lot of my aggravation with the Batmobile stems from, is just the Riddler stuff for it. So yes, that's the Batmobile. I wouldn't remove it from the game. I can see the devs put a lot of effort into it. And it had its moments. It really did. It had some brilliant set pieces, and... Oh, the Cobra battles. I remember the Cobra battles now. And Deathstroke. I'm freely spoiling this. Deathstroke is a disappointment. Deathstroke forever and a day will be a disappointment in this game. He had such an epic moment and a brilliant fight in Arkham Origins, and what did they do? They stick him in a big fancy tank that isn't even as hard as the Cloudburst tank, and then they basically turn around and say, oh, well, no, he's just going to jump out of the tank and you're going to punch him in the face and he's just going to sit there and be put in jail. And it's just... Thank you, devs, you completely ruined this awesome boss from one of the previous games. Well done. So, yes, there we go. So, all in all... Oh, music. What would I be if I didn't mention the music? Music is as astounding as ever. The music takes a lot of, basically, most of the previous Arkham franchise soundtracks, reorchestrates a bit, remixes it in bits and pieces. Can't fault the soundtrack. Still amazing. The Arkham Suite, still amazing. Voice acting is also amazing. Kevin Conroy. You can't get a better Batman than Kevin Conroy. You just can't. Gordon, I think, had some work done. I think he's got a different voice actor, and he's certainly got a different face. He doesn't look as old as he did. He's reverse aging. It's a bit weird, but there we go. Oracle, still all right, I suppose. Tim Drake, the voice actor for Tim Drake and Nightwing, both of them were absolutely fantastic. I loved Nightwing and Robin in this game. They had some brilliant moments. Nightwing, especially in his Arkham episode, very funny. Very much loved him in that. So yes. Am I missing anything? Oh, and of course Alfred. Gotta love Alfred. But no, there we go. That's my rambled thoughts of this game, I suppose. So it's all done, all dusted. Would I recommend it? Yes, very much so. Would I recommend it as a standalone? No. A lot of the game's charm comes from those little breadcrumbs that you see sprinkled out. Those moments from Asylum City and Origins that the devs beautifully interweaved into part of the game. That I can very much enjoy, especially if you start reading all the extra material in the game's databases to find out what's happened to various characters like Bane and etc, etc. So yes, and there we have it. I think that is absolutely everything. And with that said, no, hold on, is that everything? Yes. Would I recommend it? Yes. If you can get a hold of it? Yes. Would I recommend this franchise? Yes. I would recommend playing through it all, probably in the same order I did, actually. Asylum, City, Origins, Night. Different from my usual recommendation, I must admit. I always say start with the earliest in the timeline. But with the way that the game's developed and evolved over time, I think it's very much better to start with Asylum first and see where it started, the brilliant work the devs did with the second game with City, see what Warner Brothers did with Origins, building off Rocksteady's specifications, and then see where it all comes to full fruition in Knight. Because as far as Knight, the gameplay is just perfectly matured. Just a little bit too much Batmobile. But there we go. Anyway, with that said, with that done, that is all I have to say on this game for the moment. So hopefully you've gained some sort of idea of my thoughts about this game, rather than just about 10 minutes of me ranting and raving about it. But there we go. So anyway. Oh, and would I recommend 100% run? Yes. Would I recommend all the achievements? Probably not. But I would certainly recommend doing a full 100% run. Do all the story, do all the New Game Plus, do all the AR challenges. Well, maybe not all the AR challenges. Give them a try, but I'd certainly recommend 100% on the story. You also unlock the true ending by doing that, so there you go. But anyway, with that said, with that done, to each and every one of you, may you all have a beautiful evening, morning, afternoon, wherever it is around this whole wide world you are, and as always, until our paths next cross again, the Vortex awaits, and I'll see you all next time.